Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Everybody hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. So, I want to give a shout out to the Boxing Voice. You know, this is the first interview that I've actually seen when it comes to the Porters and they're addressing the Errol Spence situation, a current issue in boxing that's been bothering me a lot lately. But I really appreciate this interview because they brought up Errol Spence, but they also brought up Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia, pretty much tying the whole thing together. I say that because it's been a big help. This interview is a big help because it addressed a lot of issues. Even though it didn't answer all of the questions that I wanted, it definitely threw some additional answers and questions in there that, you know, give me a little bit more insight on this particular issue. So first thing first, I want to start with the whole Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter thing. Kenny Porter had made a statement regarding Danny Garcia. When Danny Garcia was moving up to 147 pounds, Kenny said that Shawn's style was tailor-made for him, so that made the Porters want to fight Garcia, but Garcia's daddy didn't want to make the fight. So he also said that on this particular card, this upcoming weekend, Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia should be that co-main event, not Porter and Granados. Now, the part that's confusing to me, I'm like, Kenny, it felt like the interviewer should ask Kenny, it's like, okay, Kenny, so you're saying if Terence Crawford or if Errol Spence would have made those statements that Shawn's style is tailor-made for them, would you have been so willing to take the fight with those guys? That would have been a counter question that I really would have appreciated, because a lot of things that Kenny is saying in this particular interview and things that Kenny has said in the past, you know, they're very hypocritical. Like the guy continuously likes to contradict himself. That would have been a great question for him to ask. Another thing is, when it got to the whole Errol Spence topic, Kenny kept on repeating over and over again, like, they're the mandatory for Keith Thurman's WBC title. When Keith Thurman comes back and has this tune-up around late February, March, they're willing to wait so they can make that the next fight for Keith Thurman after he returns. But I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. He also said that if something was to happen and Thurman's second fight back isn't Porter, he's going to make some phone calls because, you know, that's not right. You know, they got to fix this and it's an issue. But my thing is, well, unification trumps mandatory. Now, what if Jeff Horn and Terence Crawford would have fight early to 2018, around like March or so, around the same time that Thurman takes his around the same time Thurman takes his tune-up, then Crawford, as expected, beats Jeff Horn, becomes the new WBO welterweight title holder. And next thing you know, Crawford and Thurman, they decide that they want to unify. Now, Mr. Porter, you know yourself that a unification trumps mandatory. So in that situation, or in the situation that Thurman, he comes up injured again, who do you fight? Are you going to stall your son's career until Thurman comes back, or until he fights another fight, or some type of way the WBC finesses you out the deal? I mean, the WBC you see what they just did to Dillian White. They can definitely do that to Shawn Porter as well. So I'm trying to, Kenny, you keep on saying that your focus is simply on Keith Thurman, but and we all know that the way boxing is, the way politics in the boxing game is set up, the way these sanctioning bodies work, anything can happen. And even not even including the sanctioning bodies, just with Keith Thurman in general, he can get injured and put the fight off again. And my thing is, they also keep mentioning they want to fight the best. In this interview, Shawn stated that he wants to fight the best and nobody really wants to fight him. And these top dogs at 147 only want to fight one time a year and he can't get them in the ring or whatever. All of this bullshit. And I'm thinking like, bruh, Errol Spence was available May, June, July. August in 2017. You didn't have a fight. Like, you had a fight that got canceled, but you definitely could have took that Errol Spence fight. Like, you keep on making all these excuses like the only person that you're focused on, and you said months back the only person that you're focused on is Keith Thurman because you beat Berto in that title eliminator. But you were saying that you and Danny Garcia could have been in that main event or that co-main event on this Deontay Wilder card. Like, it doesn't make sense. Kenny, you need to get your lies straight and stop the bullshit. Like, I respect you as a trainer. I respect you as a father. I respect your son. I like all the shit that y'all do outside the ring. Y'all handle yourself like gentlemen with the utmost respect. But right now, I'm just talking simply about the sport of boxing. Cut all the personal shit aside. When it comes to boxing, you guys are straight ducking. You ducking and dodging Spence. You ducking and dodging Crawford. You're trying to use Danny Garcia as some type of scapegoat and calling out Garcia for being a ducker. But that's the thing. We know Danny Garcia is a cherry-picking ducker. We already know that. That's been established. That's nothing new. We're not surprised. At this point, we expect that from Danny Garcia. But me, personally, I can't speak for anyone else. I'm so disappointed in the Porters because I held Shawn Porter, I held Kenny Porter in high regards. I truly believe that they would take any fight. They feared no fighter in their division. They're not ducking and dodging. They're not talking to politics. They simply say, send the contract, we'll get in the ring with anybody. But that's not the attitude they're showing. They're trying to make it seem like they're simply just waiting for Thurman to come back. But in the same breath, this main event or this fight against Granado should have been Danny Garcia. They're like, well, if it could have been Danny Garcia, it could have been Errol Spence. But another thing I don't like about this, if Manny Pacquiao was to beat Jeff Horn, and if Manny Pacquiao wanted to fight Shawn Porter, the Porters would have hopped all over that fight. They would have hopped all over the fight. If even after Shawn Porter made the statement when he was responding to an Errol Spence question that he doesn't know how much longer he can make 147, I guarantee you if Floyd Mayweather came back, he would make 147. And Manny Pacquiao wanted to give him a big fight, he would make 147. So all of these excuses are straight bullshit. Like, I'm tired of the hypocrisy. If you're trying to, don't call the kettle black when it comes to Garcia. If you're not going to be real and speak on the inconsistencies when it comes to you and your son and Team Porter. Like, I like these guys, but I got to call a spade a spade. I can't be out here criticizing guys like Danny Garcia and guys like Manny Pacquiao and anyone else that, displays this ducking behavior. I can't treat the Porters any different. My favorite fighter is Errol Spence Jr. I hope the day never comes, but if Errol Spence gets on this bullshit too because some young hungry lion that comes up that appears to be a threat and Errol Spence starts to duck and dodge and he's not trying to be about that life, especially if the guy holds a title in his division and he's not trying to get in the ring with him, I got to call my boy Errol Spence out on the bullshit too. But right now, that's not the case. Errol Spence is made it known. He's made a public statement. He's ready, willing to get in the ring with anyone. He's not ducking. He's not dodging anyone. He has no fear, or if he does, he hides that shit extremely well. Shawn Porter, Kenny Porter, I need to get on that Errol Spence, Terence Crawford type shit. Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm out.